Are we filming? Yes, we are. Let me just put my coffee down. Okay. QR codes. Filofax QR codes. You've seen them on the website now. I've discussed these. There's been a lot of correspondence about this, backwards and forwards. And I just want to give you an update as to where Filofax is on this. Let me just tell you about the correspondence I've had with Filofax about this. So this all started with me waiting until this time of year for the 2025 diaries to come out. Regardless of whether I think they should be available in January or not, were they now available on the website? And then I saw a few days ago the fact that the personal A5 and A4 diary inserts have these QR codes. Personally, I don't like them. I would prefer to have the ability to buy, in my particular case, I wanted to buy a set of diary inserts, week on 2 pages, personal size. I wasn't able to do that. So there didn't seem to be any option. So I emailed them and asked what the situation was, and they kindly emailed me back. And let me read the email to you. Hello, Neil. Thank you for your email. The diaries without the QR code are available on Design Your Own Refill format. Please see below the link. I hope this helps. If you have any further assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us. And of course, I didn't hesitate to contact them again. So what I did, in fact, I did it through their social media, because this discussion was going on the Filofax Facebook page, the official page, and so I thought I was talking with another Filofax enthusiast, and basically this is what I said. I said I have received an email from Filofax about this today. They told me that I could have a diary without the QR codes if I ordered a personalised one. I'm not entirely sure that this is correct, as I went through the customization routine. So I pretended to be a customer and tried. And there wasn't an option to specifically exclude the QR codes, but the eventual facsimile did indeed have no QR codes. More about this in a future podcast, perhaps. And here we are, albeit on a coffee break. But it was picked up. It was picked up by Filofax, who said to me, hi there. The QR code choice feature will be available very soon in the Design Your Own Refill station. So I got back to them immediately and said, thanks for letting me know. As you may have seen in the comments from channel viewers, there are those who would prefer diary inserts without the QR codes. May I ask if it would be possible to offer code-free diary inserts, or will it only be possible to have these via, in inverted commas, Design Your Own? Today they got back to me again. They said, thank you so much for your feedback. We truly appreciate it and take everything into consideration. At the moment, if you are not interested in the QR code technology, you can get your refills at the personalisation station, brackets, Design Your Own Refill section, close brackets, since they haven't been incorporated yet. For those who are interested in adding the QR code technology to their personalised refills, they will have the opportunity to do so very soon. Okay, well, there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? I mean, one of the things that presumably, although we mustn't presume, because who is managing their social media? Is Filofax doing it, or is it outsourced to a company? Who knows? I mean, it seems to be fairly definitive what they're saying. They're saying they've introduced this QR code system. They are telling us that they quote that they haven't where is it? Let's see what it says. Quote, since they haven't been incorporated yet. I mean, that's actually quite surprising for a big company. They have this design your own section, as they call it, design station, and they've introduced these QR codes, but they haven't incorporated it into the design your own thing. And I would have thought, in my humble opinion, that if you have this facility, this design your own facility, which is, when you think about it, a fantastic idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. I've not used it, but I can see the advantage of it if, for instance, you want to start you want to start in March instead of January, for instance. You can do that, although you can only, and I tried this just this week, and I tried this in January. You can only, the maximum advance you can go for is 11 months, not 12 months. So if you're in January and you want a 2025, let's say if you want a 2026 diary right now, you would have to wait until not January 2025, but February 2025, which to me sounds not ideal, shall we say. That's a polite way of putting it. Other people might be a bit more adventurous with their language. But there is this curious thing where you've got a new thing that's come in, but it hasn't yet been incorporated in Design Your Own, even though that would be a perfect vehicle for this feature. And that's what I want to get on to. The default is you have to have, it appears, at least at the moment, but that might change. Obviously, it might change. It appears at the moment that you've got no choice. You may prefer not to have QR codes in your diary inserts, but the only way not to have them is to design it out, even though it's not even that facility isn't even incorporated. It's just that perhaps by accident they haven't incorporated it. So that is one way of not, but you don't need to design it out. It's just they haven't designed it in yet. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But they are alluding to the fact that they're going to allow you to have a choice in the future. And I think there will be people out there who want to have a choice. Some people would love QR codes. Some people would hate QR codes. But it does appear, at least at the moment, that you have to proactively do something in order not to have the QR codes. And I personally think that's the wrong way round. I think it would be better if that is an optional feature. If you decide you really, really want these QR codes, then you can go to the design your own station and elect to have them. I think that would be better. rather than trying to find ways of not having them and having to pay extra in order not to have something. Personally, I would say it would be better to pay extra to have something rather than have it removed if you don't like it. And some people won't like it. And that is why I want to have a quick talk about the reason why I think people may not like it. Now, obviously, it's a small survey based on the number of people that have made comments about this on the Flatability channel. But I have had a handful of people saying they don't like these. I haven't had a single person saying they like them. Now that is inevitable to have a negative response. It's human nature. But let's just think about these QR codes. I can only talk from my experience and my preferences. I cannot make any suppositions about what other people want. So, is my view representative of the majority? Of course not. I can only go by what I feel, and this is what I think. Number one, space. Space is limited. Go to the Filofax website. I'm not going to, I worry about the copyright issue of images, so I'm not going to put an image from their website on my coffee break here. Just have a look at how much space these QR codes take because of the position of it, at least at the moment as I record this, because obviously if you're watching this 2 or 3 or 4 years after I've recorded this, they may have changed, so bear that in mind. But as I record this in April 2024, in the few days after these QR codes have been announced and the diary inserts have been made available for sale, in my humble opinion, the positioning of the QR code is such that it is using up not just the space where the QR code is, but also some of the space around the QR code. It's the positioning, in my opinion, is not ideal if you are the sort of person that is keen to minimize clutter in the small space that you have, particularly with personal size diaries. And so from a point of view of space, I do not want that. Number two, I already use the calendar app on my Apple machines. I already use the reminders app on my Apple machines. I am already a fan of paper-based productivity. So I use a Filofax. I use online systems. Am I going to drop everything that works perfectly well with my Apple computers and try this thing? I mean, I'm willing to try anything, but it's personally not for me, and it may not be. But other people might have that view. So the second thing, apart from the positioning and the loss of real estate on an insert, I don't want to change to a new system that may possibly be dropped if it's, for some reason there's no guarantee that Apple are going to carry on their calendar or their reminders app. There's no guarantee of that. The only guarantees you have in life is if you have a paper-based system, such as it is, you are guaranteed that you will be able to get another notebook, another Filofax, another set of inserts, another ream of paper that you can cut and chop into A5 or A6 or A7 if you so wish. even personal size, if that is your preference. Number 3. I suspect that the average age, I know there are some young people that are into Filofaxes, but the average age of a Filofax user is probably older than the average person that uses a smartphone. I'm just guessing. I may be wrong. I mean, my parents are still alive and they don't have a smartphone, but I do know people who are in their 80s and 90s that do have a smartphone, but it's a numbers game. I know people my age, I mean, I'm in my 60s, that don't have a smartphone. So there are people that do not have the ability to integrate. I mean, that's a lovely word, isn't it? Integrate digital and analog systems. There are other people that don't want to integrate. There are other people that don't have a smartphone because of a number of reasons. But one of those reasons is because they are either rebelling against the system, or they just want a simple life with a simple phone. They don't want to be tied up in this whole digital planned obsolescence that forces us to buy a phone every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Business is business, and that's what they do, isn't it? Mobile phone makers try their very, very best to make us feel bad about our existing phones enough to buy a new phone. So many of us don't have a smartphone, but we do have a Filofax. Other binders are available. So for those people that choose not to have a smartphone, these QR codes are not going to be used for them, but they will be cluttering up their inserts. Other inserts are available from other companies, and they have the same date range. They have the same more or less design. There is no monopoly on inserts for a Filofax. In fact, I've already ordered my 2025 ones from another company. And it's not out of protest, it's just out of expediency. I didn't want to pay extra for a custom set of inserts just so that I didn't have the QR code. What I did was just order them on Amazon. They arrived the next day, bish bosh, job done. And they work. Although I must admit, I prefer the Filofax paper because it's in recent years it's become fountain pen friendly, and I really, really like it. I really like the fountain pen friendly paper, but alas, I don't want to. It's not an annoying thing, but and it's not a principal thing. It's just that I'm not into the QR codes, and I certainly don't want to pay extra to design out or take advantage of the fact that QR codes have not been incorporated yet. I found very, very strange that they haven't got their timings right with that. But finally, there is the issue of security. What do I mean by that? There are issues with QR codes to such an extent that I have, to avoid being tempted to scan QR codes that might be a scam, where the QR code sends you to malicious code on a website. You can never be sure. So I have just disabled the QR code reading feature on my phone, on my smartphone, just in case to avoid making a mistake. There will be other people like me who are very wary of QR codes, even if that QR code is perfectly there's nothing wrong with the Filofax QR code. There will be people like me who don't want to scan any QR code at all, and they will have that facility switched, that feature switched off on their smartphone for security reasons. So you've got some people that don't like them out of principle, some people that don't like them because they don't have a smartphone, some people like me are worried about the security implications possibly of having a smartphone reader on their phone, and other people that just think that the idea of paying extra to have those, so that you don't have to have those QR codes, that they don't like the idea of having to pay extra. My solution, and I think it's a very, very simple one. It is absolutely clear the intent of Filofax, the FLB group. It is absolutely clear that choosing not to have a QR code will be soon part of the options when you do when you take advantage of their otherwise excellent design your own service. So if that is a service where you can have those, choose to not have the QR codes, you could equally have a service where the standard insert, which is obviously cheaper, doesn't have QR codes, and for those people that want the QR codes, because some people clearly will like these, they can then go to the custom fill, pay the nominal extra fee, and then have them as part of the special service that is the design your own station on their website. And I think that would be much easier, because if you do that, if you choose to opt in rather than opt out, then you avoid all the frustration, the social media chat about this. I can't see, as a person in the street, obviously I'm not an expert at these things, I can't see the advantage of an opt-out system, but I can see the advantage of an opt-in system. So, if you have any comments about this, I would like you to do something for me. I would like you to respond to this coffee break. This is a one subject coffee break, and we're up to 22 minutes. So I thought it would only be, it's just as well it's one subject, because there's not enough time to do anything else, although there's lots more in the next podcast, in the next coffee break. But I would appreciate it if you could just leave a response to this coffee break about the QR codes, and just do one thing for me. If you would keep it simple, I appreciate that. Is just say whether you like them or whether you don't like them, or if you have any suggestions as to what Filofax should do. Should they have an opt-in system, or should they have an opt-out system where you have to pay more to not have the QR codes? And let me know. And if there's anyone listening from Filofax here, as you know, I'm very straight talking. I'm very, very straight talking, but where Filofax deserves credit, I do that on this channel. And I'm a big fan, and I have about 100 Filofaxes. You could say I'm a real fan of Filofax. But I don't pull my punches. If something needs to be said, I will say it. And what I'm saying is, I think you should have an opt-in system rather than an opt-out system. And if you have a look at, if any person from the FLB group is listening to this or watching it, have a look at the comments, because there will be, I know there will be, and see what people are thinking about these comments, these points that I have raised, particularly the worries over security, the concerns over the fact that this effectively is in a paper-based, a Filofax is a paper-based system, but you run the risk of excluding people that like the Filofax brands but don't want to get involved in issues over smartphones. They may not even have a smartphone, or they may not want to participate in this new app that you have, this reminders app on the that Filofax have introduced. Great it may be, but some people may not want it, and they may prefer to opt into this system rather than have to opt out, and even worse, pay to opt out by having to have a custom fill instead of a standard fill. That's all I want to say. Please respond, leave some comments. I'll do my very, very best, as always, to respond to every one of you. Unless it's thousands, I won't be able to do it. But if it's a handful, if it's 100 maybe, I'll respond to the first 100 at least, maybe more. But thanks very much for watching and listening, and I'd be interested in what happens if Filofax get back to me. Then I will keep you updated in another coffee break. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Until my next video, goodbye.